Hello and welcome. Rahul, you're watching my YouTube channel of my talks, and if you're watching me consistently, welcome back to my channel. See, whenever I come in front of you, I want to instill some positivity and I want to disseminate such knowledge, imbibing which, inculcating which can transform your life altogether. Because I know exactly that if you are really investing your time in learning something valuable, you will be able to transform your life altogether. Because we are living in information age, and whoever is capable of, learning and relearning and implementing it for their benefit, they can really understand the value of knowledge and value of learning. That is what will sharpen their skills. That is what will make them able for each and every opportunities. That is what we want to instill. That is what we want to create. But the reality, before exploring any avenue, everybody say that if your virtues are right, you will get success. Most of the you know sayings in the world is that if you will be having virtues and if you will be favored by God, you will certainly get rich. That is what they say. But reality is something different. Even God and the universe that we think about, the omnipotent, is not a kind of omnipotent force. Is itself beat each and every kind of force in its reality. So if you want to let it prevail, you have to choose virtues over vices. Suppose you are the omnipotent person in your society. If you will not exercise all the options, virtues and vices all together, then you do not have freedom. And if you have that freedom, that means you can exercise each actions, either aligning through positive side, through light, or aligning with negative side through darkness. You'll be able to exercise both the powers. That means you have ability to align yourself, and most of the time, whatever your cognitive reality is, they're rational, and whatever you perceive, whatever your contemplation guides you, that is what will be your reality. That is why I'm telling you the selection of forces is important. What kind of thing you want to exercise, what kind of forces do you want to let it prevail in the world, because you have been given opportunities. Even God resides within you. So if you really want to exercise that very power where God can prevail and its virtue can prevail, then you yourself have to take that very action to let it prevail. Otherwise, all the powers, omnipotent powers who wants to work with you, who want to really help you to virtues, they won't be exercised and they will be limited. Their effect will be limited. That is what you have to understand. If you have got cognitive power to contemplate, to think, to ponder, then it is your responsibility how you choose to exercise that very power, aligning with your virtues. That is what I want to convey. That is what I want to say. Because God is even waiting for you to take actions, to let light prevail. Many of you try to worship in front of statues, in front of stones, but nothing more happens. Sometimes you get some kind of synchronicity, your manifestation happens, and you start believing in that very stone or that very statue. Even you would not have prayed there, and you would have contemplated in your mind. Some entities, some forces might have listened to you, and they would have fulfilled your desire. So what you would have thought, some categories even think, Muslims think like that very way, and they believe in Allah, that kind of force. Not any statue, not any stones, but you believe in statues and stones. Hindus believe in that. So nothing is different. That is what I want to convey. But the thing is that most of them are corrupt. They don't want to exercise virtues residing within them. Because your karma is not only praying or only doing any kind of religious rituals. Your karma is that whenever positive forces are asking you to take action, to align your virtues, you have to stand on that. Everything religious worshipping or religious rituals are not enough. Rather, your action provides real force to that very entity, whom you call God, and He is waiting for you to take and exercise that very power. Then only He can prevail. You have to align your your consciousness, because once the whole collective consciousness will exercise that very power and will align its virtues with the omnipotent will that wants your benefit, that wants your then who is your benefactor, that is what you believe in, you know. So if you really want to let prevail the benediction, it is important, you know, that that person will only help you. If you really want to do everything on your own, you have to exercise that willpower, you have to align your virtues, and sometimes it demands your action. All you have to do, you have to contemplate, you have to be aware, you have to read exactly what is happening with you, you have to be aware with all subtle forces. It might look like sometimes, it is delusional, it could be, because these are forces. But once you strengthen your force, once you align your perspective, and once you use your cognitive ability along with that to discern exactly what is right and what is wrong, you certainly be able to move forward. That is what you have to understand. Don't get swayed by the forces, rather align with them, and exercise your own role, whatever you can do. Don't think of yourself that you're omnipotent. Even the omnipotent force which helps you, when that person and that force doesn't want to be omnipotent, then why do you want to prevail? Just prevail when it is needed. Just do your action when it is needed and align your perspective. It will be enough to change the world. Because every scientific activity, whatever is happening, that is also its part. But most of the explorers, they don't want any kind of forces, life forces in any scientific method. That is what they want to discard. But reality is that when these life forces will prevail, more scientific opportunity will happen, more revelation will happen, more rules and equations will come that can help you, that can shape your world in a better way, because you want to live in a world where everything will be possible. After advent of quantum computing, many scientists are speculating that we can have digital immortality and also biological immortality after some years, after some centuries. Such kind of exploring power we would have. And if you really want to witness that very reality, you have to align your virtues, you have to sow and exactly exercise your power in order to stop those darkness, because they are not sitting idle. They are always contradicting you. They are even playing with more subtle reality to make you dissipate. And that is why if you really want to stand, you have to take action in order to stop them, in order to prevail light and virtues over vices. That is what you have to do. That is what I'm trying to tell you. So if you understand all this reality, why all the people are trying to, be such kind of dramabas, most of the people, they play with you. Sometimes they threaten you. Sometimes they play in such a camouflage way that the world looks like a drama play. But why all this happens? At the end of the day, you have to understand exactly that magic will not prevail until unless the whole scientific process will not be covered, and will not be discovered and documented. Then little magic will try to make you a fool. You won't have to be fool. If you are being more literate, what is your passion? What is your strength? That you can document each and everything, you can find each and every scientific method, and you can give those equations for benefit of the humanity, and it can be used as a tool. It can be mechanized, in such a way that it can be proliferated, and its benefit will come to whole people. Rather than bringing it in certain magic, which few people will be able to exercise, and it won't even help in that very magnitude. But their display will be such that they will be making all the people fools for centuries. That is what is happening. The Babas are doing in India. So don't let religious mentality prevail. Rather, bring scientific and knowledgeable method and prevail. Let it prevail. The knowledge, let it prevail. Education, let it prevail in such a way that we could have comprehensive knowledge. We can bring better reality. But vices and virtues are the real forces of this world. What is you have to understand, because you have been given that cognitive power. You have been given that your contemplating ability. Your comprehensive ability. That is what you have to exercise. Thank you for listening to me.